Over the course of the past few years, many issues have arisen regarding Philippine territorial integrity over several conflicts, not to mention territories like the Scarborough Shoal, for example. And although there are so many concerns about these, like where do we base where do we actually determine the territorial waters of the Philippines? At the end of the day, I think it's all about sovereignty. I think it's all about where we believe a land culturally belongs to the Philippines, and we have to go beyond and look beyond politics. We have to look beyond the politics that exists in having ulterior motives with regards to the future of our nation, sources of our wealth, and we have to look at everything with a genuine concern of preservation of the integrity of our environment. And we have to ask the question, who is truly capable of furthering the intentions of a people, of a culture, and of a place as far as their natural resources are concerned and their quality of life? Thank you. As a born and bred Cebuana, I have lived here all my life, and as such, I experienced the troubles and the trials of our people. Growing up, my father was an OFW, and he shouldn't have to have been that. There should be a way so that I can grow up with my father around, with my 6 siblings having a father figure in their life, without us having to resort to separation in order for us to seek a better life. I think that the wage hike, it is high time, by the way, for a wage hike. The quality of life of the Filipinos should take front and center when it comes to the concerns of the government. Because more than 50% of our population currently suffers from some form of economic poverty. So it's high time for a wage hike, and I think all of us can benefit from that, because when we are fed and clothed and sheltered, then we can begin to think of the concerns of others. Thank you. This is a very important topic, as I'm sure you all know. As a creative in this industry, as a student, and as a very outspoken individual, freedom of information is very important to me, as it should be to every single one of us, especially when it comes to, for example, freedom of the press. The press are our window into reality. We have to protect the freedom of speech of every individual, as well as the right of the press to deliver truth to the people, to our people, not just the people of the Philippines, but to the world, to genuinely and authentically reflect our situation so that we can work hand in hand, not just as people of the Philippines, as islands who care about each other, but as nations of the world, in order to make the world a better place, but also to fight for our unalienable human rights, our freedom of speech, our freedom of information, and of course, the quality of life that we live. It is a collective effort, and as beauty queens, it is our social responsibility to advocate that in everything that we do. Thank you. As a beauty queen, one is reluctant to speak on the topic of red tagging, right? But as a student and a student activist, I have myself experienced the consequences of red tagging. It comes with consequences that are very dangerous and endanger not only the safety but the lives of students all over the Philippines. And if you know me and where I grew up and where I went to school, you know very well these consequences. Many students have lost their lives to suspicions and ideas that may not be very friendly to our audience right now, but they are nonetheless real and they are nonetheless urgent. So we have to be very careful with what we say. We have to be accountable with how we believe other people or where we believe other people are associated. As citizens who listen and who have ears, we have to be responsible and to know that where we stand is not particularly affiliated with certain organizations that we may or may not see as bad, but as well, we have to know that there is more than meets the eye, and that is the point here. Thank you. I would save no one other than my roomie, Patricia Dizon. One of the reasons being that when I started out in this pageant, like many people, we have so many differences. Our differences are generational. I've been in the pageant world for a while, but Pat is new to it. But Pat has taught me a lesson in the time that we spent in Boracay. It is that the true measure of an exceptionally empowered Filipina is how much she can pull other women up. And it was such a pleasure showing you the ropes of the pageant world.